Hello, DC Universe. So today, I'm sorry, but I have to bring you guys some bad news, especially those of you who have followed my videos and other people's videos on how to get gear and CR skip. Well, I'm doing this mission today to go see if I can get some flash boots because, I needed to make some money, and that's what I do, I run this mission, I run a couple others to make some money, And sorry if you can hear my dog barking in the background, but my mom's in the background just having a way with my little dude. She's just playing with him and he's getting all excited. So anyway, when I was doing this mission, I'm just flowing right through it, and I'm trying to get this mission done. So I'm, just go right through it like I normally do. And when I got to the last boss, where it allows you to select a loot for the mission, well, it gave me two choices, a piece of 20 gear and another piece of 20 gear. And I was thinking, well, that was weird, because usually it drops 305 either roll piece or a DPS piece. And all of a sudden a light bulb came on, and I'm thinking, shoot, DC closed this one. So for all of you guys who were doing the Gotham Wastelands loot farm, and the ones of you who found loot out here into the open world, it can no longer do those because DC, they closed up the loot farms for these open world missions. So now you guys are all going to have to go through and do it the old-fashioned way. You're going to have to run omnibus until your fingers fall off. And I'm sorry that happened to you guys, because I know that some of the group that's doing the loot farms are just people that have been playing the game for a while, and you wanted to try out a new power, so you made a new character, and you've been playing the game for a while, so you know how to get skill points. You can always transfer them from your mains and stuff like that. But the newer players that are just trying to get into the end game content because they want to be OP or whatever, blah blah blah, they can no longer do these. People that don't want to get skill points, and I just discovered this today. I don't know how long ago this changed, perhaps maybe on reset last week, but I didn't run any of these because I've been helping out my friend Shock and one of my league mates, and I never noticed this, and he never said nothing because he hasn't been trying to rank up his troll or his fire tank recently, because he's new to the game himself, and and as you saw, the gear was pretty low, and I was like, what is this? This is a level piece of 20 gear. So I'm like, oh my goodness, so I just want to let the community know that DC now is not going to let you bypass CRs anymore. You can't do the CR skips, and from business standpoint, I can understand where they're coming from, because CR skipping has two advantages. One, for older players to, make new powers and transfer their skill points over using replays, and then ranking up their artifacts, to see how their new powers will work. Well, on the other hand, you got people who have no business being in endgame content up there, running with people who have experience. So any of you guys that got through all this bull shenanigans before today, or before they did this, you guys are so lucky, because all the new people coming in, this is no longer a possibility for them. They can no longer bypass CRs, and if they do, that's probably because they're using their gear that they got from say time capsules. But I knew it was eventually going to happen, because most games, they're looking for ways to make their customers, which is you and me and everybody else who's going to invest money and time into these games. We knew that DC is always changing stuff. They revamped from weapon mastery to some bullshit afterward, excuse my language, but that's what I thought it was, and then they implemented artifacts and augments and all that stuff, and I left DC for 3 years because the revamp, because I really liked weapon mastery before. That was probably the funnest part of the game. I used to love to see that pink circle around me every time I got my weapon master combo and implemented a power. that was one of the most awesome animations this game has ever had. You know, as far as the power interactions you see or anything like that, weapon mastery was absolutely amazing. And for those of you older players, you know what I'm talking about. Every time you hit that power and it goes ching, ching, it sounded like somebody was tapping like a, you know, a cymbal or something. You know, it's like ching every time you hit that power. Oh, it was amazing. But anyway, I left DC for 3 years when DC revamped their power sets. Because, you know, I was a precision Earth DPS back then, and, you know, my Celestial DPS was a precision. You know, I had max, you see in my feet, my hands, my chest, my back, my legs, you know, everything. I had, they call them mods, and I had them all modded out. And so when you used to play, you used to have mods. You didn't have artifacts. You had to get mods in every piece of your gear. And if you didn't have those mods, we'd kick your butt out of a mission, especially an elite raid or something. If you didn't have mods in your gear, we'd be like, man, get this fool out of here. We didn't care if you didn't have skill points. But those mods, that made the difference, you know. And on top of it, you know how like you have your weapon combos and stuff? Well, we used to have to go down every weapon tree and fill out every single one of those just to get to either the restoration, vitalization, or dominance, or health, or whatever it was down on the bottom, just to get to those stats. And then DC revamped the game on me. So I was not very happy with it, so I left the game for 3 years. And when I came back, you know, I was like CR 199 with 300 skill points. And it was funny because, you know, I went into a duo with an Earth DPS, and he absolutely wrecked, you know, the mission. And I was thinking, man, what's he using jackhammer for, you know? And I didn't know much about the game at this point again. So, you know, I was talking to him, and he told me, he asked me, he said, hey, what's that red stuff in your gear? And I said, what? He said, you got some kind of red round thing in your gear. And I was like, that's a mod, man. I said, that's precision. He said, yeah, you're Celestial. Why aren't you using might or this or that? And I was like, well, what do you mean? I says, how come you ain't got no mods in your gear? And he says, we don't use mods anymore. I said, what? He says, no. He said, we use artifacts. And I had no idea what he was talking about, these artifacts. So, you know, it took me 5 months maybe to figure out what the hell an artifact was. I was running around the game not knowing artifacts. Then the allies came along. I didn't know anything about the allies, what they do or anything. And so, you know, it took me a while. I was a slow learner at that point, you know. But like out here in the open world, as you can see, I still know my way around. But, you know, that's because I used to farm for collections all the time, because that's how I made my money back in the old days, you know. I didn't have all these booster bundles. You know, if you got a booster bundle, you might be able to sell like an aura for like 60 million, and you was banging it then, you know. But, you know, I didn't know a lot of I didn't know a lot about the game how it is now. And, you know, everybody said that these allies are the new artifacts. And, you know, I'd have to agree with them at this point, you know, because if you don't have the right allies, you're just not going to play very well. It's like most of my healers, you know, the first person that I rank up is Cyborg. After I rank up Cyborg, I always have to monitor my generator power for my base, and that's not a problem. You know, so I run Cyborg on all my characters, and he's in a passive slot where he's going to give me power back. And I realized that, you know, I don't need to rely so much on the trolls to have power, because with Cyborg, he tends to give me a lot of power. And, you know, as I was, you know, I keep changing the subject. I'm kind of like little like, wow, they took this away from the game too, you know. And like I said, you know, we all have part of the game we really love and really enjoy. That's why we continue to keep playing it. But, you know, DC doesn't understand that they're not making our clients happy anymore because a lot of the things they do. You know, I watched a video of Obsidian Chill earlier, and, You know, he had a lot of good points in his video, you know, about these artifacts. You know, how they do this, how they do that, yada, yada, yada. You know, I'm not even going to get into his storyline because that was his video, and if you want to see it, you go to his page. Because, you know, he's always the mathematical guy to give you the foundations of all the numbers of what you're getting and what you're not. You know, and he's also a PC player, so, you know, I follow him, you know, I follow Multiverse, you know, I follow Man. You know, those are some people that I've learned a lot about the game from. And they're my age, you know, well, I don't know about Obsidian Chill, but I know Man and Multiverse sound like they're more my age, you know, so tend to get along with watching them too, so. But anyway, going back to this whole loot farms and stuff, how it's going to affect the game, you know, it's going to have good effects because, like I said, these people that probably shouldn't be playing end-game content are not going to be able to bypass all the CRs without having skill points to, you know, at all, because in order for them to get up to the levels, they're going to have to run those missions. And a lot of people, since they're doing the missions, they're actually going to try to get the feats too. Because, like I said, you know, my league mate Shock, you know, he's playing a game for 2.5, maybe 3 weeks now. He's got 130 skill points already. And that's just after 3 weeks, you know, or less than 3 weeks. So, I mean, the skill points aren't hard to get, but finding groups that want to run those feats, especially the older feats, that's the $1 million thing. That's the $1 million question in the game now, because guys that are my CR at 370 or above, we really don't want to go back to tier 1 because of the stack lamps. So, I mean, DC's creating a double-edged sword. They're creating a division in the community with doing this, because if somebody's a high level and we can, you know, players in the community who actually have some knowledge of the game, or, you know, the feat grind and stuff like that, we can eventually get a hold of some of these people and help them and create a monster as far as being a bad mofo on the game. But on the other hand, there's a lot that slip through the woodworks, because a lot of these guys, you know, they're free members, so they can't be in the, you know, the chats all the time, you know, because, you know, as well as I do, free members have restrictions on the chats and stuff like that, you know. So it's kind of like they're dividing the community, you know, old versus new, new versus old, you know, legendary versus premium, premium versus free. I mean, there's all these little things that come along with the benefits of being a member. So, you know, I'm rambling on and on and on, you know, because there's a lot of things that are on my mind right now, you know. I don't like it that, you know, things are costing more money now to do than, you know, in the past, you know. So as you can see, I got a lot of characters. You look up there, I got 27 out of 32. And I was actually thinking about making another character to do a rank up. You know, to show people how to get to level 30 in a few hours. And I'm probably still going to continue to do that video, but, you know, as far as, like, you know, the way the game is now, I can't show them how to rank up faster at this current moment because I haven't done any research on it yet. So I'm probably going to have to make a new character, and I'm going to have to see how long it's going to take me to get to battle readiness at 370s, because personally I think it's going to take me quite a while, you know. And a lot of people, they see all of us that have been playing the game for a long time with all these cool materials and, you know, high output gear and everything, and they want to be the same way. And DC just blocked everybody from getting to that level. And that's why I said it's been kind of a disappointment, you know, because the community is going to be divided, because you're going to have all these low levels that are coming in that are like level 20s, and they're going to get to level 30, and they're all going to be playing together. Because guys that are 370 and above, they don't want to do those low missions. So they're going to queue up for it once a week. Yep, once a week, because they have to do an omnibus raid, which that could pull them into tier 1 or tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 4. Then they only have to run one omnibus 4-player a week. And then they only have to run, I think, 3 to 5 solos or duos for omnibus. So you're going to get all these low-level characters. They're only going to get high-powered players to run with them maybe once, twice, maybe 5 to 7 times the total in a week. and then after that they're going to be stuck with running with a bunch of low levels too. And those low levels, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but the majority of them, they don't communicate in the game. So you can try to tell them, hey, don't do this because we're trying to get a feat. Well, a lot of their chat tabs aren't set up for group conversations, and you're not going to get feats. So this is kind of a double-edged sword with the DC community. So like I said, I do my Twitch channel, and it's Fat Panda 282828, and so I try to help people from there. I try to show them what I'm capable of and this and that. And some people tell me I'm a hardcore grinder, and I grind for feats because I have 6 characters that have over 600 skill points, and I'm gonna have a set number 7 soon that's gonna have over 600 because I'm trying to decide which power I want to move over 600 next. But my arts are all crap because it costs too damn much to rank them things up. I mean, one guy did I think it was Obsidian Chill. He said it's about $200 to rank up one artifact to 200. $200. I don't have $200 just sitting around to rank up 3 artifacts. So that's $600 to rank up 3 artifacts. And nowadays with the meta, everybody's doing artifact swapping. I started doing that last night because I wasn't sure about that whole artifact thing. But I realized, this guy was trying to tell me how to troll yesterday, and I was like, man, who the hell you think you are telling me what I should use and what I shouldn't use? And, I was kind of offended about it, so I logged off and left him hanging without a troll. And, I kind of felt bad about it, but, I was like, the hell with these guys, Then I watched a couple of videos on YouTube of a guy artifact swapping, and I realized it's not that hard. You just got to hit the start button, have the artifact you want up in that first, left corner slot, and then you push that, and then you hit exit, and then you have that artifact in. And so I realized how easy it was because I ran a raid last night helping some people out with the chain link feat, and I was artifact swapping up until the last part. Then I just left my amulet row in because it allows me to have higher vitalization, so my power dumps are bigger. So I'm just sitting there pumping recharge, and every now and then you get that ring around you. But up until that point, I was artifact swapping. So like I said, if you want to get arts, it's going to cost you. And so you got all those artifacts, and then you got to get allies. Well, those allies, the source marks it costs to get those allies up is absolutely insane. It's like buying it's like paying for another artifact. So I mean, like I said, DC doesn't understand. They had a goose that laid a golden egg, but now they're going to start losing that golden egg because all these low-level characters are going to start getting frustrated because nobody strong is going to want to help them. Because they're going to be sitting in the LFG shouting out, can I get some help with this? Can I get some help with that? And a lot of OP players are going to get tired of seeing that, and they're going to put them on ignore. Me, I don't ignore people, but I also don't have to do missions either. If you're in my league, you're one of my friends, I help you out as often as I can. But if you're just some random player, how my heart's feeling that day, I'll help you out. But as you see, all the new players are going to have to go through all of these missions just to get to the end game. They're going to have to go through 2 players, all of those, and get all those challenges done and all those base things done. Then you're going to go through all the 4 players and do all of those missions just to get the end game content. Then they're going to have to do all the raids, from tier 1 all the way down. That's a lot of stuff to do. And say you got a guy who now he's been playing DC, he's got 12 characters, he wants to make a new power because he wants to learn a new power. He cannot bypass and transfer all his skill points over to a new character, using replays. I mean, you think about it, would be a win-win situation for DC, but they don't want that advantage in the game. So they took that out of the game, CR jumping. If you want a CR jump, you're going to have to buy those 200 source marks for, I think, $22.50 out of the marketplace. And those go pretty fast on that gear, it really does. So they're going to get one CR for $20. Then they're going to have to either buy the CR jump, which is 40 $45, I think, on a marketplace if they want to go bump a character up. So like I said, the game's being so money driven that DC's going to end up probably losing a big portion of their client base, because everything they do in this game has a dollar sign to it, And I understand in life things cost money. It's like the development of this game. It costs money to pay the developers. It costs money to get copyrights, to buy into copyrights. I mean, all that different stuff it costs. But, today I just wanted to share my feelings on what I thought about a few things here and there. And to those of you who are trying to CR skip, I'm sorry, but you're just not going to be able to use these open world missions anymore. You're going to have to do it the old school grind way. And hopefully when you're doing them, you're going to have some good people to help you along the way. And, I wish you the best of luck, because the days of free lunch are coming to an end now. So anyway, y'all have a good day, and I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope this was educational for you. Thank you.